Good morning, dear students. Welcome in the physics class. We were continuing our chapter 2, that means units and measurement. And today we have to discuss the applications of dimensional analysis under this section. Dimensional analysis and its application. What is dimensional analysis, dear students? I have already discussed with you about the dimensions and units and different system of units in which physical quantities are measured. So let's proceed with dimensional analysis. What is the definition of dimensional analysis? The method of studying a physical phenomenon on the basis of dimensions is called dimensional analysis. That means if you use the concept of dimensions in the study of different physical phenomenon around you, or detailed study of certain physical phenomenon, if you are using the concept of dimensional, that is called dimensional analysis. There are three main applications of dimensional analysis. That is, first, you can apply it in converting a physical quantity from one system of units to another. And the second application, very important application of dimensional analysis, is that you can derive you can check the correctness of a given physical formula. If you are provided that you have to check that F is equals to ma is correct or not, you can use the dimensions, concept of dimensions, to check whether it is dimensionally correct or not, it is dimensionally consistent or not. You can check it using the dimensions. The third very important application is that you can derive the relationship between different physical quantities. For example, you can derive different formula like F equals to ma, W is equals to mg, kinetic energy equals to half mv square, like this, knowing the factors on which the physical quantity is depending. For example, kinetic energy is depending upon mass, kinetic energy is depending upon velocity. If this is given, you can use the concept of dimensions to derive the formula. Now let's proceed with its first application, that is conversion of one system of units to another. If a physical quantity, the value of a physical quantity is given in a first system, you can convert it into the second, you can find its value in second another system of units. It is based on the fact that dimensions of a physical quantity remains the same. Whatever be the system of units you are choosing, the dimension of the physical quantity remains same, unchanged. Also, the value of physical quantity remains constant. For example, if we are considering the force, the dimension is ml t to the power minus 2. And whether you are choosing SI system or CGS system, whatever system of units you are choosing, the dimension will remain the same. The dimension of force will never change. Next point is that the value of force, that means let us take another example. If you are taking 5 meter of length, then in CGS its equivalent value is 500 centimeter. Both the values length will be same. Whatever the system of units you are choosing, 5 meter means 5 meter or 500 centimeter, both lengths are equal. Okay, dear students, let's continue. Let Q be a physical quantity, and it is being measured in two system of units, u1 and u2, and corresponding numerical values are n1 and n2. Then Q will be constant, and both the values will be constant, given as Q equals to n1 u1 equals to n2 u2. Further, let m1 l1 and t1 be the sizes of fundamental units of mass and length and time in first system, and m2 l2 t2 be the corresponding units in another system. Then if the dimensional formula of the quantity Q be m to the power a, l to the power b, t to the power c, then u1 can be written like this: m1 to the power a, l1 to the power b, t1 to the power c, and u2 is equals to m2 to the power a, l2 to the power b, t to the power c, according to the dimension of Q. Okay, so as u1 equals to u2, the value will remain constant. The equation will be like this: equating the two, we will get the final expression for n2 is equals to n1 m1 upon m2, n1 into m1 upon m2 whole to the power a, l1 upon L2 to the power B and T1 upon T2 to the power C. This equation can be used to find the numerical value in second system of units. Okay, dear students. Next, let us take an example. The SI unit of energy is Joule and the CGS unit of energy is erg, and 1 Joule is equal to 10 to the power 7 erg. We know this, we have learned it in class 9th in work energy power chapter. So 1 Joule is equivalent to 10 to the power 7 erg. How can we convert it into from SI to CGS? Let us see. Let us convert the SI unit of energy into its corresponding CGS unit. So conversion of 1 joule into erg can be carried out like this. Take the corresponding various quantities in SI and CGS. The numerical value in first system N1 is equals to 1 joule, and N2 you have to find. M1 is 1 kg equals to 1000 gram, M2 is 1 gram in CGS system, L1 is equals to 1 meter, 100 centimeter equivalent to 100 centimeter, L2 is 1 centimeter. Time is equals to 1 second in both of the system of units. That means T1 equals to 1 second and T2 is equals to 1 second. Using the conversion, we know that the dimension of energy is m1 L to the power 2 T to the power minus 2. Take the power of m as A, power of L as B, and power of T as C, and N1 equals to, since 1 joule is given, so numerical value in SI is 1, and applying the conversion formula, N2 is equals to N1 M1 upon M2 whole to the power A, L1 upon L2 whole to the power B, and T1 upon T2 whole to the power C. If you put all the values from here in the conversion formula and then simplify like this, you will get 10 to the power 7 as the result. So 1 joule is equals to 10 to the power 7 ergs. Let us take another example. If you have to convert the unit of force, SI unit of force, that is Newton, into its corresponding CGS unit, that is dyne. As we already know that 1 Newton is equals to 10 to the power 5 dyne. We can check it. How will you convert this value to this value? That means one system of unit to another, that means SI system to corresponding CGS system. As we know that, let's see, as we know that the dimension of force is m1 L to the power 1 T to the power minus 2, then A is equals to 1, B is equals to 1, and C is equals to minus 2. And take the corresponding SI and CGS values, different values. M1 is equals to 1 kg in SI, that will be equivalent to 1000 gram, M2 is equals to 1 gram, L1 equals to 100 centimeter, that means 1 meter, which will be equal to 100 centimeter, L2 is equals to 1 centimeter. You have to put on the right side that system of unit in which you have to convert. Okay, dear students, if CGS is given and you have to convert in SI, then you have to write SI in this side. Okay. So T1 equals to 1 second, T2 equals to 1 second, N1 equals to 1 Newton, and N2 you have to find the corresponding value into dynes. That means in CGS unit. Using conversion formula, if you substitute all the above values here in conversion formula and simplify all the above values put here in the conversion formula, and after simplification you will get 10 to the power 5 as the final result. So 1 Newton is equals to 10 to the power 5 dynes. Let us take a question. Very important question is that from conversion of the physical quantity from one system of unit to another, the value of gravitational system G, the value of gravitational constant G in CGS system is 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 8 dyne. 6.67 into 10 power minus 8 dyne centimeter square per gram square. So you have to calculate the value in SI units. As we know that from Newton's law of gravitation, F is equals to G m1 m2 upon r square. So G equals to Fr square upon m1 m2. Calculating the dimensional formula for gravitational constant, putting the different dimensions of different physical quantities here in the formula for G, you will get that the gravitational constant has the dimension m to the power minus 1, L to the power 3, and T to the power minus 2. So here A is equals to -1, B is equals to 3, and C is equals to -2. And CGS value of G has been given as 6.67 into 10 per minus 8 dyne centimeter square per gram square. We have to find the corresponding SI value for capital G, that means universal gravitational constant. We have to move from CGS to SI. So SI has been written on the right side and CGS has been written on the left side. We have to take different values. M1 equals to 1 gram in CGS, which will be equal to 10 to the power minus 3 kg. On dividing 1 gram by 1000, you will get the corresponding kg value. M2 is equals to 1 kg, L1 equals to 1 centimeter will be equals to 10 to the power minus 2 meter, and L2 equals to 1 meter. T1 equals to 1 second, T2 equals to 1 second. N1 has been given as 6.67 into 10 to the power minus 8 dyne centimeter square per gram square, and N2 you have to calculate it in terms of Newton meter square per kg square. Dyne is in CGS, Newton is Newton in SI, centimeter has corresponding meter in case of SI system. Now using conversion formula and substituting all the above values, all these values you have to put in conversion formula, and N2 is equals to N1 M1 by M2 whole to the power A, L1 upon L2 whole to the power B, and T1 upon T2 whole to the power C. You have to substitute all the values here, and then on simplification you will get the result like this: 6.67 into 10 power minus 11, which we will signify that the value of universal gravitational constant G in SI unit is 6.67 into 10 per minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. Dear students, I have done some important sums for you as example in the numericals. Question number 2 related to power, and question number 3 related to Stephen's constant. So you have to see here, you have to find the value of 60 joule per minute. 60 joule per minute, that means 60 joule is work per minute divided by time, that the rate of doing work, it is the quantity designating the power on a system that has 100 gram 100 centimeter and 1 minute as the base units. So let's proceed. Power is equals to 60 joule divided by 1 minute. You have to convert 1 minute into seconds, 60 seconds. So 60 joule divided by 60 seconds equals to 1 joule per second, that means 1 watt. This is watt. So dimensional formula for power is M1 L to the power 2 T to the power minus 3. This is how we can derive. W is equals to ML2 T minus 2 divided by T. So you will finally get M to the power 1 L to the power 2 T to the power minus 3. Therefore A is equals to 1, B is equals to 2, and C equals to minus 3. You can take like this SI system and a new system of unit in which the question has been given. N1 is 1 watt and M1 is equals to 1000 gram, that means 1 kg equivalent to 1000 gram. L1 is equals to 1 meter 100 centimeter, and T1 equals to 1 second. In new system of units you have to calculate N2. M2 has been given as 100 gram in the question, L2 has been given 100 centimeter, and T2 has been given as 1 minute. Time has been taken in terms of minute. 1 minute equals to 60 seconds. On putting all these values in conversion formula and simplifying, you will get the value like this. This is 216 into 10 to the power 4, and in scientific notation, putting the decimal after the first significant figure, 2.16 into 10 power 6 new units of power. So 60 joule per minute is equals to 2.16 into 10 power 6 new units of power. Okay dear students, our next question is from Stephen's constant, and you can understand it. This is also similar to the question 1, and you can do it easily. by the method of dimensions, looking at the PDF soft copy provided by me, and some problems for practice has been given. You have to do it in homework. Okay, dear students, I hope that you will understand everything whatever I have discussed in the class, and you have to do homework punctually and properly in your homework copy. So today's class is over, and hope your physics is going on smoothly. Okay, dear students, the class is over now.